Jess, we're back, and we are back with a very heavy lift today. This is part three of a 5-part series of Is This Actually Yours? That's what we've titled this. Though part 3, Jess, talks about the avatar. Is the avatar actually yours? And my goodness, this is going to be a fun one because here's why. I have lived this countless times of having the wrong avatar on my calendar because I inherited it, right? And that's what we're going to talk about today is the avatar yours? Is the client that you have actually yours, and does it fit the desire that you have for the person or the persons you desire to coach?
I think this is probably the most timely conversation we could have right now because I feel like so many people are coming to us into our world, whether it's through the podcast or working with us one-on-one or in one of our, events or community situations. And nearly every single one of them has a client that they don't actually want to work with.
That's right. Yeah.
And so I think we need to have this conversation, and maybe we should have had it first, but we always do things in this certain order, the way Jess's brain works. If y'all haven't figured that out yet, letting you in on this. And I think you have to have clarity on, where you're coming from and what you're offering before you figure out who you're offering it to, which is why we're doing this as the 3rd episode. But it's so true. Like we situationally will say, this is our client, this is our avatar that's ideal for us because of X, Y, or Z that we're coming from.
Yeah.
And when you can break all of that conditioning and get away from that and figure out your offer, like we were talking about before, then it makes this conversation that much more fun.
Well, it's really fascinating about this one right here is you nailed it, but we'll go back to our internal talk is when you come from a past container, you believe that that's the person you should be coaching. Of that container. When we say container, we mean like industry or niche or something along those lines. But here's the biggest part. And I've had to go through this countless times is we coach to our identities sometimes, right? When we coach to our identities of who we think we are, what are we coming from? That's who I need to be. And that's the type of coaching that I need to do. And when you go down that lane and you think your identity is of, I think I did an Instagram post on this called high achiever identity crisis. Right. And I was always introduced as that guy that built, right? That guy that built. And it was the guy that built Recruiting Bridge, that guy that built the Keller Williams offices, the guy that built Beverly Hills Tennis. And when I stopped, and I was like, ooh, if I'm not that guy that didn't build, how are they going to introduce me? And who am I going to coach? Oh my gosh, who am I going to coach? Right. And it wasn't until I really dove into what we have developed to define the avatar of who I have passion around and who can I help in my problem solution cycle. That was a past version of myself really helps identify this.
Well, I love that you said identity, and I do think you're right. There are people who choose their avatar based on their identity that they're just stepping out of, right? But the other flip side of the coin that we've seen problematically is who they think they want to grow into, and they're trying to coach to a future version of themselves that they haven't achieved anything in yet, which is where misalignment really shows up and inauthenticity because you don't speak to what you know, you speak to what you think you want to do or want to know. And so it's a fascinating thing to watch people who are in the coaching space uncovering their true identity, their true authentic self, and teaching them how to use that to be the filter for the avatar.
So this podcast shouldn't be titled, Is Your Client Actually Yours? How about, Is Your Identity Actually Yours? Right. But it does lay on top of exactly what you just said is we will go to coach through the lens of the identity that we think we have of ourselves. And it's not true. I remember coming out of a coaching world, and inside that coaching world, I coached leaders, right? I coached this singular role of people that were to be recruiters and to be leaders of their organizations. And the crazy part about it was that role was always, people try to title themselves as CEO. You're not the CEO. You're a recruiter in an organization.
Wait, my new favorite right now?
Yeah.
The trend of labeling yourself founder. Because people are rejecting C-suite roles, but they still want to be the first and the highest and the best. And it cracks me up.
Yeah, it totally. And so when I left that organization thinking that that's who I could only coach, is because that's what I was told, that that's what I was going to coach, right? And so when we look at this topic, is your client actually yours? And when I look back upon that journey of only coaching that individual, is because I was told that's who I was supposed to coach, because that was the container that I came from. And I really didn't have any passion around that space.
Yeah. Well, we all do it because we are so conditioned to wear the labels we've been given by our environments as badges of honor. And yet they're not part of the claimed identity a lot of times. And we have more on identity and authority and all of this planned for future episodes. So I don't want to spend too much time here without focusing on the client side. Yeah. But at the same time, when you are wearing somebody else's labels for you, then it makes it really hard to figure out who you can best serve. And so my push to you, if you're listening to this, is do me a favor. And like, I'm imagining labels as like stickers on a jar, right? Or on a water bottle or whatever. Go peel every single one of them off and lay them out in front of yourself and be like, these are the ones that I actually want, and I'm going to let go of the rest. And then think about the person that could be served by the ones that you're choosing. And that, I mean, it's not an easy thing. I made it sound really easy. I have a habit of doing that sometimes, but identity work is simple. I know. Identity work is not as simple as I make it sound, but truly, it really is. If you get rid and reject all the things that you don't want to hold on to, and you hold on to the things that really feel right for you, it makes this conversation around who am I and am I best positioned to serve, which we've quoted Rory Vaden like every other episode. But when you choose the position and then you think strategically, who can I serve from this position, this language, this label, it changes the game on your success in coaching. And that's why it's so vitally important to have a clear understanding of your client, your ideal client, your avatar, because by having the right one, you'll find more success with them, and then they'll be raving fans, your coaching business will grow, all of that. When you're coaching the wrong person, it's like pulling teeth and going to the dentist every call. Nobody wants to do that. Weirdos who like the dentist, I question your sanity. So,
and here's the other thing too, is you'll actually sit at the computer month in and month out, and you'll say, I hope they don't cancel. I hope they don't cancel. Gosh, I hope that revenue stays, right? And it's just like, that is not a way to live. And if you're thinking along those lines, we need to pause for a second. We need to go back and we need to look at your clients. We need to look at your avatar. Who is that defined avatar? Now, let's help them just here. And actually, I love the visual there, pulling off the labels. And we can go one step further. And I think I read this in a book somewhere, and maybe it was Donald Miller, talking about you being in the inside of the jar, and you can read what's on the ingredients label inside the jar, but on the outside of the jar, it says something completely different, right? And what I think when I read that, could be off of Donald Miller said that, I don't remember, is we know who we are on the inside, but we pose as something else on the outside. And so when we have the wrong client, we think we have to show up in that pose week in and week out. And that's not actually true. So let's go define not only yourself first, but now let's go define the avatar that you really want to work with. And it's probably a lot easier than what you think.
Yeah. The analogy you're thinking of is you cannot read the label from the inside of the jar. That's the line.
Yeah, I totally butchered that one. I thought it had something to do with it.
It's okay though, because that was why I was saying take the time to go sit down and pull it off and put it in front of you and read it correctly.
Yeah.
And because too often we try to act in our world fast. We want to go get the revenue. We want to go do the things. We want to find success. And we don't take the time to pause and do the work necessary to make our jar bigger, to give us more capacity to do whatever we need to do. And so this, for me, goes back to, like, I shared it in an episode here, but one of my favorite keynotes is the BEAT method for making time matter. And it's a slow down to speed up pause, right? You break for a second, audit everything, examine it, and make an adjustment, tune. So that's BEAT, break, examine, audit, tune. So that way you can go have wild success because you've done the work that you needed to do. And so I know how hard it is to slow down to speed up. I fight Adam on it all the time. I fight myself on it all the time because as visionary entrepreneurs, that's what we do. But at the same time, when you give yourself permission to slow down, it makes you wildly more successful, wildly more impactful. And because you're in that much more alignment, and it makes it that easier on you to do all the things that you've envisioned for yourself. So I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, but it's true.
No, these are all great points, because when you do slow down, I would also ask coaches who are listening to go to their calendar, if they're coaching one-on-one people, and do the exact same thing. Slow down, look at that client list, and ask yourself the 3 questions, right? And one of them you already know is true because they're paying you. The first question is, do you like them? The second question is, can you and will you help them? And I don't mean relationally. Can you and will you help them in the area where they have a problem right now to the desired outcome that they want? Can you get them there? Don't take it.
It's not just their outcome, it's the outcome you've defined that you're skilled in. So that's the other key piece is I watch people say, oh, well, I can help anybody. Then you're not doing this the right way. It's, if you've named your outcome, can you and will you help that person on your calendar with the outcome you've named? Sorry, keep going.
That's okay. And then the last one is, can they afford to pay you? Now, the neat part about the last question is, as you're slowing down to speed up and you're looking at your roster, the last part, I would almost challenge you to think, when I know my payoff and I'm looking at these clients that I have right now, half of them probably can't afford you, right? Because you're probably underpriced, right? Most coaches that we help are underpriced. We just had a coach nearly more than double her price. And was so fearful of it. And she got one within 30 days? At least 60 days. Got one within 60 days. And it just goes to show. So let's go back to this. And is your client actually yours? That's what we're talking about today. We know you have clients on your roster, but are they the right ones? Are they the clients that align with your payoff? Are they the clients that you desire to help each day? And are they the clients that can actually afford the price for the value of the payoff, not for you?
Yeah. Well, we call those 3 questions that you were giving, we call that the avatar fit filter. And we've built that into our system and our blueprint to help people have the ability to look at their calendar or look at the people that they're trying to put on their calendar and make the right decision about, is this client actually yours? Because it's the trap of trying to help people in different spaces and not leaning into the outcome you've defined or the payoff you've defined. It's leaning into old identities and labels that are out of alignment. It's leaning into a space where you have a heart for service, but it's not a space for selling a coaching outcome. And so they can't afford you. And then that's not a right fit for you. And so those questions are wildly powerful in helping find the right people for your business and helping your business grow. Because if you sit there and you're like, I love this person and I can help them, but I don't want to help them with that thing, automatically they're no. I love this person and I can help them with the thing that I've defined, great, but they can't afford me, then don't waste your time. They can go read the book. You can give them a resource. They can stay in your world until they're ready to afford you, but don't spend your time on them if they can't afford you. And don't assume they can't or can't afford you. Let them tell you that. So don't make assumptions here. But just understand that you should never be discounting yourself or changing the outcome you've defined to serve a person just because you like them.
Yep. And we see that so frequently, so frequently, that the first thing that people go to, Jess, when they are trying to close a client, price.
Mm-hmm.
Let me discount the price. Let me discount the price. Let me discount the price. And when you discount the price, it means you do not have clarity on your payoff, and or you don't believe that the payoff can be achieved based on whatever your process is. When you are firm and you have true belief and knowledge that the payoff can be accomplished, because not only have you done it, you've helped other people do it. You do not discount. You actually simply invite. And I think Graham Cochran says it all the time. I will invite you, but I'm not going to chase you. Right. And that's the way that it should feel. If any of these clients that are on your roster, whether that's one-to-one or one-to-many, that you have to chase over and over and over, they might not be the right fit. Now, I'm not saying, because I do believe this statement, timing is everything. Timing is everything. So being persistent, if you ever have to feel like you're selling or convincing, it's not the right client.
Exactly. Well, that's why the word invitation was actually a big mindset shift for me personally, because I've never felt like I was strong in sales because it felt inauthentic to me. And I'm like, I can confidently all day, every day say, hey, what do you need? Oh, great. I have this product that aligns with that. I have this, outcome defined. Here, if this is the right time for you, here it is. And like, it completely changes everything when you're not trying to customize for each person because you like them, but you have the clearly defined outcome that you're offering to them or inviting them to, and they can say whether or not the timing and the investment is right for them.
Yeah, that's good. I like this question in here is, do your clients reflect who you are at your best? Oh, that's so good. Or who you are willing to work with when you are building confidence. Is that what it says, Jess? Okay. That's such a neat question. Do your current clients reflect who you are at your best? That's so good.
Yeah. So are they reflecting who you are at your best, or are they reflecting what you took on when you weren't as confident? And I think that is such a helpful bonus piece to the questions of filtering who's on your roster, because I think a lot of times we take on not right fits to boost confidence or to gain revenue.
That's right.
And then we don't have a way to end that engagement. And so we just keep taking it, but then they start becoming a drain rather than somebody who helps reflect the thing we're building. And so if you're somebody who, like, we used to do a strategy session with people, and we would red light, green light them based on a series of metrics. I would go through and red light, green light each of your clients and say, is this a green light? Yes, they're good for me and what I'm building towards, or red light, no, they're not. And you could just change the colors on the calendar and start to try to replace the reds with greens. Yeah. Something as easy as that is a way to really find the right people, which will change the trajectory of your business.
Yeah, because most people feel when they have a client that's not actually theirs, after listening to this podcast, of course, when they realize, they almost probably feel stuck. It's like, what do I do now? Once I've realized that this client that I have isn't really the avatar that I either desire to help, or I've just either inherited, or whatever it may be, they feel stuck. And just, that's a great exercise.
Thank you. But please, for the love of Pete, don't red light, green light people who are not actually clients of yours, because you need to actually do the work to figure it out.
That's
like
very
we've had people who made decisions with an intro call or strategy call or whatever you want to call your initial kind of deep dive before an engagement starts, make decisions on that person about whether or not they can afford them, whether or not they can help them, whether or not all these different things. And yes, there is some level of intuition and gut, but that at the same time, the reps are going to be the thing that clearly help you figure out who you are at your best in coaching. And you're not going to figure out who you are at your best in coaching without actually coaching people.
That's very true.
So I want to be careful here and not say, please go, completely change your opportunities to connect with people and build a coaching business because you're suddenly like building it wrong. It's like, no, go do the reps and then improve on everything, become more aware, slow down to speed up, but don't stop. I'm not telling you full stop. And that to me is the crux of the message.
Well, this is an awareness message, right? This is truly just an awareness and an auditing method. Is if you're feeling stagnant, if you're feeling bored, if you're feeling fill in the blank there, like you can't grow, or if you're feeling stuck, ask yourself this question: is the client, is the avatar that I'm coaching actually mine? Right? Is this the right who? And that's a whole nother podcast because Jess, I'm starting to believe I don't believe in whys anymore. I more believe in whos. Right? Whos are more important than whys, and we can talk about that. We've actually talked about it a little bit. I was on a podcast not too long ago. I think it was last week, and I actually brought that up, and the host was like, "Whoa, you don't believe in whys?" I said, nope, I believe in whos. And
that's funny because I don't believe in whys as much as whats. So, and I did a whole podcast on it about, on my podcast. Because again, whys to me are internal, who's and what's are external. So your positioning and mine are similar, two sides of the same coin of you have to look at things outside of the jar. And too often we get so bogged down that we are comfortable letting the lid be screwed on tight and being like, I'm good. This container works, and it's like, no, you will get so much further if you examine everything, if you filter things and make decisions intelligently, strategically, and not, fire ready aim behavior. And I know that's really hard for entrepreneurs. That's really hard for your fast thinkers and fast movers. But when you can make conscious decision, you're going to change your life.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. Well, land the plane, Jess. This was good.
Well, I mean, as always, if you found value in this and you want more of Adam and I, everything that we're doing is at ilovecoachingco.com. So we have upcoming challenges where we help people build their first offer typically or refine the offer that they have. We've got an intensive coming up this fall if you want to deep dive with Adam and I in Charleston for 2 days. And our community and our one-on-one coaching accelerator, all the things that we offer are there at ilovecoachingco.com. So head on over, check it out, and we'll see you on the next episode.
That's right. Episode number 4 of 5. Your blank is yours. Come to find out what that blank word is next time. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.